Honestly, I think this is one of the more accurate portrayals of depression I've seen online, especially in a format like this. Many individuals who are struggling with depression are fighting an internal silent battle that other people are unaware of. Outwardly, they may present as social as anybody else. They may be functional in their work and other types of life obligations. But again, they're struggling inside. Remember, anybody who we see, we're seeing the tip of the iceberg and what they're allowing us to see, whereas a lot of the other battles are going on underneath. In this case, too, when individuals are sharing with you, they're feeling depressed. Maybe you don't see it, but we don't want to minimize somebody else's experience or pretend that it's not there. If they're telling you they're experiencing depression, just because you cannot see it does not mean it's there. And numerous people are fighting a silent battle daily, crying for help, but don't know how to go about getting it. This is an excellent portrayal of just that. I think one of the major takeaways of this is that everybody is dealing with something, whether or not you're aware of what that something is that somebody is dealing with. Somebody is dealing with something at all times. It's important that we are sensitive to that. We don't draw any assumptions. We recognize that we are all fighting our own types of internal battles and so on. This is why we really do need to treat one another with more kindness. And as I was reading through that, I see that individuals who may have been going through difficult times, maybe celebrating recovery, maybe celebrating new parts of life and so on. Remember, there's always hope out there. Because you're in a bad situation now doesn't mean that that has to be something that's going to follow you the rest of your life. Things can get better with some effort, with the hard work, support, and so on. There is hope out there. I really do hope that everybody watching this follows that. How important are boundaries? One of the things to really think about is that every single time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, which is usually your own personal time, time for self-care, time for loved ones, and so on. And while, you may be taking what seems like the easy route by saying yes to somebody else, as time goes on, you find you don't have time for it, you might start feeling the crunch. Self-care starts lacking, time with loved ones starts lacking, you start to feel resentful and so on. Really, remember, there's always going to be a need out there. None of us can do everything all at once. It's important that you do take some time to care for yourself. And while individuals may have a difficult time, especially employers and so on, when you do start setting those boundaries, over time, they're going to see, okay, so and so is still doing a good job, has these boundaries, that's going to be okay. And then the pushback is going to start to lighten up over time. If the pushback doesn't lighten up, it might be an indication that that's a toxic environment. Maybe these individuals who are supposed to be friends, people who are support to you, aren't necessarily as supportive as you thought. Maybe you have to take some distance from these individuals, but it's important to set those boundaries because otherwise you're going to find yourself continuing to be in this negative type of cycle where you're not taking care of yourself. So set them, be firm, continue progressing accordingly.